Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Leader Class Prime Universe Skyquake from the Transformers Legacy Evolution line from Hasbro. So this is our Leader Class figure for Wave 2. Really beautiful artwork here on the packaging. We have the robot mode, the vehicle mode here on the front. Over here on the side, kind of a close-up of that same artwork with the vehicle mode and the robot head right here. And over on this side we have that half of the kind of evolution mural with all the different characters on here. Not really anything going on the bottom. Up here we just have the Legacy Evolution logo and the QR code for the tech specs. Spinning it around to the back, got some product shots of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. Evo Fusion with the giant Gatling gun going on here. And then it does talk about the fact that Needle Nose can connect onto the top, so we'll take a look at that as well. But yeah, pretty standard packaging, but looks really nice. I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. So here is Skyquake out of the packaging, and like a lot of these larger figures, he is actually packaged in vehicle mode. So here he is in his jet form. He has the giant Gatling gun hooked up underneath, and it's kind of funny, even with the landing gear, he's really sitting more on the gun than on the landing gear. I'm just going to go ahead and take this off for now. Really nice giant Gatling gun, looks pretty cool. You can see this translucent orange piece is actually the sword that can clip in there for storage. We'll come back to that more in the robot mode. You can see he has this retractable landing gear here. So you can fold that up, fold that up, fold that up. It's a pretty cool jet, I have to say. I like it quite a bit. Really nice detailing, a lot of nice silver paint all around. Some translucent orange here for almost looks like a second canopy. Then you have this canopy here, and this can open up. And you can see the seats inside. Nice kind of a maroonish orange paint here. Really like his color scheme. Got this thruster here on the back and then these two down here. Underneath, cleans up pretty nicely. Not a lot of robot kibble hanging out underneath. That's nice. You also have these connection points here on the side. So if you wanted to connect the Gatling gun to the side, you could do that as well. You do kind of have these connections here on what will become the legs as well. So you can really load this guy up. I mean, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots here underneath that you could connect weapons to. And then you have these on the side as well. So there's one right here. You could peg this in there if you wanted to. And then you have two here on the top as well. So you could really load this guy out with accessories. Now he has these two little connections here, and they say that you can connect Needle Nose. And you can. So Needle Nose has these little spots right here on what were the chest in his robot mode. And you just kind of have to line this up. You want to push these wings down. And then you can just line this up. And it can be a little difficult to kind of find the right spot, but there we go. There you go. He is connected on. He's not just resting on there. He actually is connected in. So I don't know if they're going to do something with this later on. Maybe repaint these two as some kind of 2-pack or something later on down the line. I could see that. But yeah, he can connect on there. Doesn't get you a whole lot, but it's kind of neat. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the vehicle mode here. I think it looks good. I like the landing gear. I like all the connection spots for weapons. I think that's really fun. And you have Needle Nose connectability for some reason. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the transformation. Alright, so if you haven't already, go ahead and fold in all of the landing gear. Then we're going to start by kind of grabbing a hold of these sections here on the side and kind of unclipping them, and then they're just going to kind of rotate forward like this and just kind of hang out here on the front for the time being. Then you're going to want to kind of grab the front of the nose cone here and bring this around. Now I will say this is a little weird because how this works is the front landing gear piece is kind of connected to this. But then if you open up this, like the seat pieces and the piece that the canopy is connected to, it's all connected to the same like piece of dark gray plastic there. So it's a little weird. They want you to keep this folded in, but then kind of bring this down. But like it's got a small area, and I don't know, I couldn't get it to come all the way down. It's very strange. So just kind of get it down as best you can, but I don't know, it's just a weird way to do it. It feels like it's unnecessarily constrictive, and I don't really know why that is. But if you have difficulty, because then it just says just flip the nose cone around. You think, oh, that's really easy. But then you kind of get here and you kind of meet resistance. So just kind of bring it down as best you can. But like this piece, because like if you took this out, you know, you could bring this all the way down and go crazy with it. But you're supposed to keep that flipped in. So you kind of have to just, you know, bring it down. And it will eventually get a little bit more space, but just kind of bring it down as best you can for now, and we'll deal with it later. Next, we're going to come to the wings here. They are clipped into these sections, which will become the legs. So kind of unclip the wings here. And this can be a little sticky. There we go. Flip that up. Do the same thing over here. Like that. And then we are going to flip the legs around. Let's look at it like this. So flip these down like this. And you can hear the really nice ratchets for the hips. And then you can kind of flip this around like so. And then, can we flip this around yet? No, we'll wait for that. But what you can do is take these pieces, and this is kind of cool. So this will detach, flip around, rotate up, and then you can see that there's a tiny little slot right there, which is going to peg in there, and that just kind of closes up the back of the legs. I think that's kind of nice, so you don't have a lot of hollow area there. And then you can flip out the foot. So flip this, spin it, and tab that in. Flip out the foot. And then we're going to rotate these around like this, and just kind of leave that there for now. Then we're going to grab this section here. This will become the arms. We're going to flip this out, straight out like that. And then we're going to detach the arms, and then kind of bring them all the way out to the side, and make sure you take this gray kind of shoulder connection piece with you, and then that will flip all the way out to the side like that. Then we're going to come around here to the back. Let me tilt this up a little bit. This section here, you can kind of see the seam that's running across here. It's pegged in down here, so it can be a little difficult to get a good grip on this and get it to come apart. But you have to just kind of, it can be difficult because it's pegged in down here all the way at the bottom, and there's not a great place to grab a hold of it. And I feel like if you're pulling on these pieces, you know, it could eventually cause something to pop off because it's plugged in all the way down here at the bottom, and I don't want to pry off anything that I don't want to cause stress where I don't have to. There we go. Okay. So you can see it's pegged in all the way down here, right there into there. But you're going to flip these open like this, and then that's going to allow you to spin these pieces. Be careful with these wings. Flip this around, and then you can kind of bring this back and up like this, and then kind of just leave that there. So make sure you're not getting this piece caught on anything. Flip this around, bring this out, and then just kind of leave it hang there like so. So now we have to rotate the waist just to the 90-degree point, and then flip these wings around to the back. So they will flip 180. You can see the hinges right here. This is going to flip around like so, and then that will allow us to now rotate the legs to the correct position. Okay, here's the challenging part. We're going to bring this down, and there's sometimes clearance issues with this, but that will reveal the head. You can see that there. And then this has to come inside here. Leave these pieces up, so flip these out because they're going to become shoulder pads. So basically how this works is you can see that there's kind of a little connection spot right there. That's going to tab in to this section here. So that's kind of why we have to bring that in. So like this, so you can kind of see that. And then as you can see that there's a slider here, we're going to collapse the chest down, and then that's got to peg in to that. There you go. Okay, so you heard that snap. And I know the light's not getting in there very well, but so the nose cone piece pegs into the waist piece as you slide this piece down. Now we will close this section up and peg these two halves together like this. And then you can just kind of fold these back down like so. If it hasn't done it already, these arm pieces are going to kind of fold into this little cavity right there. They don't peg onto anything, and I was really surprised by that. They kind of do that to give you a butterfly joint so that he can hold a Gatling gun later, because he kind of has to bring the arms in to hold the Gatling gun. But they just don't peg into anything. So then we're going to flip the hand out of the arm, and then this little panel here will flip around to hide this hollow area. And this tab right here is going to peg in right there. So that will go in and just kind of do that. And then you can just bring the arm down, straighten it out how you like. So once again, we're going to flip this out. This flips around, pops into that little spot on the wrist. And then also you can slide the head forward. So I don't know if you can see this, but the neck piece is on a slide. So you can slide this whole piece forward a little bit. And then you just kind of position the shoulders, bring them a little forward, make sure you clear over the actual arms. And I believe that is it. So here is Skyquake. Let me just straighten him up here. And I will adjust the camera since he's quite a tall guy. Let me get him to stand first. So here is Skyquake out of the packaging, and honestly it was a little difficult to get him to stand, only because he's very back heavy because of everything he's got going on here. And also his legs give him kind of a weird center of gravity. You can kind of see how the legs kind of come back, and then the leg is kind of like attached at the back of the knee, as you can see. And it gives him almost kind of like chicken legs. It's a little weird. He's got decent heels with these thruster pieces, and the ankle tilt helps a lot. But you still just kind of have to find a pose that works. But once you get him to stand, he does stand very well. And he looks good. I will say it's a little weird having like this whole open cavity here. When I was first transforming him, because it's so hollow in here, it really looked to me like this was supposed to kind of tuck underneath the head. But it doesn't. And I had to go online and look at pictures and a lot of other things to make sure I wasn't crazy, because I kept feeling like this should have tucked underneath to fill in that hollowness. One, it would fill this hollowness. Two, it would fill this hollowness underneath the neck. But no, it just doesn't do that. They have the ability to move those arms back and forth, I guess, to give you the butterfly joint for the Gatling gun. But either way, he still looks good. Head sculpt, I think, looks really nice. Let me see if I can get up here so we can take a look at this. Really nice detailing here. I think he's got light piping. Yeah, there's a little bit of translucent orange plastic there for some light piping. But just all of that really nice silver paint there in the face. I love the grimace he's making. I think that's really cool. Really nice range of motion. Head can go all the way back. Can't really come forward all that much. Can't really tilt side to side all that much, but you can definitely look side to side. And it's just a really nice looking head sculpt. All of that nice silver paint. You have some translucent orange plastic here for the chest with a little Decepticon symbol. Some nice silver paint around here on the chest as well. And all of this paint on the underside of the wing, I feel like, is a really nice touch, because it's something you don't see in the vehicle mode, but it's really just kind of there to augment the robot mode, which is nice. Not really any paint down here on the legs, but you don't really need it. I mean, you have the green, you have the gunmetal gray plastic. It works. A little bit of red here on the forearms. Kind of wish they would have painted that all the way around. Not a big deal. And then you have the nice silver up here on the shoulder pad. So all in all, I think he looks good. We'll get into the rest of his articulation. We already showed off the head. So you have some movement here with these shoulder pads because they're not connected. So if you ever need to just kind of move them out of the way to get whatever articulation you want out of the shoulder, that's very possible. They have like 2 hinges here. And then I think they have some swivel ball joints where it connects up here. So you can definitely move them around. But I don't know if you can hear that. Kind of like a weird ratchety type joint there in the shoulder. So you can kind of get about that high, definitely down. Again, you have that butterfly joint to move that around. You have a swivel. You have a bicep joint. Now, it's a little difficult to actually utilize the bicep joint because it just wants to move the butterfly joint because that doesn't peg in anywhere, but you can absolutely use the bicep joint there. And then you have definitely, I would say, over 90 in the elbow. The elbows are kind of weird as well. Actually, we can straighten these out. It's up to you. It depends how you like the look of it. But if you want, you can absolutely extend those and get a double elbow. And then you can get, I think, even more. Let me bring this up. Yeah, I mean, maybe 120. But it's up to you. I think that's probably, you're supposed to extend that all the way out. The reason they were condensed was for the transformation. I kind of like the look of that better, though, I'll be honest. I feel like the one elbow joint's enough for me, but you're probably supposed to extend these out, and I probably just missed it, so we'll just go ahead and do that, and then I can pop this back on here. And it looks like there might be, I can't tell if that's, is that silver paint in there? I think it is. So if you leave it condensed, you'll miss out on the silver paint. So yeah, that kind of gives him double jointed elbows, which definitely gives you more range of motion. I don't know. I can't decide which way I like it better aesthetically. I mean, he of course, he's going to look better with longer arms. It's going to make him more proportional, but I kind of don't mind them shrunken up. Anyway, moving on to the wrists, you have a swivel here in the wrist. That's pegged in, so that's not going to move around, which is nice. We have a waist swivel here. We have pretty good range of motion here in the hips. Kick out pretty far forward. Kick out pretty far back. Hits into the backpack stuff, but still get, pretty much 90 degrees there. And then we should be able to get 90 degrees out to the side, no problem. And you can hear the ratchets. So that's really nice. You have thigh swivel there. You have, I think, double jointed knees. Yeah, double jointed knees, so you can get a good range of motion there. And then you have ankle tilt. A little bit of ankle tilt there. And you kind of have a little bit front to back, but that's really just collapsing the leg for the transformation. But you can utilize that a little bit if you wish. So, yeah, pretty good range of motion. And let's go ahead and bring in his accessories. So we have the Gatling gun here, and I'm going to go ahead and remove this piece of translucent orange plastic, as this is a sword. Now, it's kind of weird. It has this notch over here on the side, like it looks like it's a spring-loaded missile or something. I'm not really sure what that's about. I don't know if that's a nod to the original toy or what, but there's a little notch over here on this side that you can kind of use your nail to flip out the blade piece. And it's not spring-loaded, but like when it gets about halfway closed, it does want to go all the way back, as you can kind of see. So it can be difficult because of that to get this out. So you kind of have to pull this back and then use your other finger to get that out. But you'll see what I mean when I get it about like halfway. It kind of clicks itself closed, so that makes it a little difficult to get it out of here. But once you do, you're left with this pretty nice looking translucent orange sword. Now, because of the weird notches here on the handle, it's a little difficult to put it in this hand. So you kind of have to put it in this hand, so that way the notches are facing to the open part of the hand. So they'd have to kind of be in this area here. So if we pop this in like so, and it is a little tight, I will admit. There we go. Let me zoom out here. So it's, I'll be honest, it's a little small. I kind of wish it was a little bit bigger. It's not terrible. It's decent proportions, but I do kind of wish it was a little bit bigger. And then, of course, we have the Gatling gun itself. You can see this little handle piece can rotate out, and then it's on a ball joint there, so we can swivel that around. And you can actually get him to hold it. So let me take the gun out of his hand. So this piece is going to feed up behind the fist, come in from underneath, and lift this up, and then you can utilize those butterfly joints. You'll probably have to move the shoulder pad a little bit out of the way, but then we can go ahead and pop this into his hand here, and then you can just kind of push this back down into position. But here we go. He has got the Gatling gun, and you really do have a nice range of motion here to pose this however you like, but yeah, that looks pretty cool. I love that he can actually hold that. And you absolutely do need, I mean, it could still peg into place and then you could just unpeg it and flip it forward. I still don't know why that open area has to be so hollow, but it's not that big a deal. But I love that he can use this with both hands. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. And he looks really great there. So yeah, I'm liking that quite a bit. Just wanted to do a few size comparisons real quick. Here is Leader Class Studio Series Rise of the Beast Scourge. You can see that they are roughly the same height. And then here is Deluxe Class Needle Nose, since we talked about him earlier in the video. And then just for fun, why not, here is G1 Hot Rod. I like this guy a lot. It did take me a minute to kind of come to grips with everything being so hollow on the inside. Honestly, mostly just because I thought I was mistransforming it. But once I realized that I was doing it correctly, I'm fine with it. I mean, everything kind of stays in place where it should. I was really kind of upset at first that, you know, the arms didn't peg in somewhere. But at the end of the day, they stay where they should naturally. And it's really not a problem unless you're trying to use the bicep, because the bicep is so tight that it just naturally makes that kind of move. But you can just kind of hold on to it. And it is kind of needed because you need that butterfly joint to be able to hold the Gatling gun, which he does very well. Looks very cool wielding that with two hands. The sword's not bad. I like that it's translucent orange plastic, but that also kind of washes out any molded in detail. Maybe a little bit of silver paint just to highlight that might have been nice. Honestly, I wish it was a little bit larger. Again, just a little nitpick, certainly not a deal breaker in any way. But for the most part, I think he's pretty good. I mean, good paint applications, good articulation, transformations, not too bad once you get the hang of it. Looks good in both modes. And I don't think I mentioned it previously, but you can, you know, store the gun on the back here, just peg it into one of these two spots. So that's not bad to have that stored somewhere if you don't want to use it all the time. But yeah, overall, I think this guy's a lot of fun. Definitely expect to see him repainted a couple times. Wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, he had a twin brother in Prime, so they could absolutely do this guy in that navy blue. I think it was Dreadwind or Dreadwing. I'm not 100% sure. But definitely expect to see that at some point. You know, there are G1 possibilities they could repaint this guy into, so I wouldn't be surprised if they, you know, trot this out a couple times in Generations or Hasbro Pulse exclusives or something like that. Maybe part of a box set or something. We'll see. But yeah, overall, I like him. I think he's fun. Nice to get another guy from the Prime universe, and I think they did him justice. I think he did come out really quite nice. And this is one that I feel like, you know, a lot of people were complaining with the other Prime characters that they G1-ified them too much. I feel like they did a little bit here, but you don't notice it as much. I feel like this guy kind of still keeps his Prime aesthetic pretty well, you know, with the spikes on the shoulder pads and the wings and everything like that. So I think they did a pretty good job with him. I like him quite a bit. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.